Hello plant people. Thanks for watching Amethyst Plants. I'm so happy you're here. Today I am going to be making a custom planter for one of my really good friends. She found this basket at a thrift store and she asked me to put some plants in it for her and kind of make it a beautiful flowy basket. So I'm looking forward to doing that and I'm going to show you the process. Here we go. Let's go over what you'll need to make a planter like this. As you can see, this really chic, adorable planter has holes on the side. It's white and ceramic. So I'm going to be using sheet moss to place on the side so that the dirt doesn't spill out. So you'll need some sheet moss and some dirt. Then the fun part, you're gonna need to go to the nursery and pick out some plants. These plants are plants that my friend and I picked out together, and I'm gonna share with you why we picked them out. All right, let's talk about the plants that we chose and why. When we're doing a mixed planter like this, I like to use a filler, thriller, and spiller strategy. So a spiller is going to be something that is vining, and a filler is going to be something that is a little bit more dense in the middle. Now these plants, we really wanted a nice flowy feel for this planter. So our filler plants also have a little bit of spill to them too. Our spiller is a big leaf periwinkle. So this might eventually flower with little blue flowers on it. Our fillers are creeping jennies, and they're a beautiful like lemon lime color. And we're going to be using this beautiful plant as our thriller. This is a Kaluna garden mix, a Kaluna. I'm not really familiar with this plant, but I know that it is more of a annual plant versus a perennial. So this will be good just for this season, and next spring we'll replace this filler, this thriller, with a different plant. Okay, really quick, if you don't have sheet moss at home to use, you can look for any kind of like thin type of fabric, canvas, or anything else that is not going to retain a lot of moisture to line the sides with. So I'm just gonna be using sheet moss because I have it and I want this basket to have a really earthy feel. So I'm gonna start by taking my sheet moss and placing it on the sides of my basket. So you kind of have to rip it up. There we go, that's gonna look so nice. Okay. Just continuing to put my sheet moss in. There we go. Now I don't need any on the bottom because the bottom is flat without any holes. And you want to only kind of put it where you need it because this sheet moss is going to take up room, and it's going to kind of take a little bit of room away from the planter and from what you're able to put in it. So here we go. Here's another nice flat piece. This will be the last piece that I need. Perfect, so I have my basket lined with sheet moss. Now I am going to start putting my plants in. You can see I don't have a ton of room in there, so rather than putting dirt in the planter, I think I'm gonna be using the dirt from my plants. Upon further examination, this is a heather plant, and we have 2 vinca plants that we're gonna be putting in too as our viners. And our filler is going to be these creeping jennies. So let's start by putting our thriller in first. Your thriller is something that you want to stand tall, and you could put it in the center of your planter, but since this has a handle in the center, we're gonna be putting our thriller on the side. When you take your plant out, you're gonna kind of give it a good little massage like that, and then it should just pop right out. So I am going to loosen the roots a bit here. And you kind of might feel like you're ripping into the roots, but that's okay. I'm gonna loosen the dirt on the top a little bit. I'm doing this over the planter so the dirt falls into the planter. And I'm gonna stick that sweet Thriller heather right there. That's my starting point. Now I wanna have some nice balance to my planter. So I'm gonna put my fillers in next, and I'm gonna balance them out on each corner. I think I'll start with this corner since the heather is already in. My basket, a nice massage. And can tell that this one is not as root bound as the heather. So I'm actually going to bring my bucket of dirt and take some of the dirt off in there because I don't want to run out of room in my planter. There we go. So I'm going to put my filler in right there. And ooh, it's looking awesome already. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going with my next filler here. I'm gonna do the same thing. I wanna make as much room as possible in here, and I'll add extra dirt once I have all my plants in if I need to. So another creeping Jenny, just getting some of that extra dirt off. Those nice tiny roots, okay. Or I mean like very thin roots, but there's some good ones. Got it? We're going to balance it out by putting it in the corner. Oh, beautiful. Okay, I'm so excited. I think we're definitely going to have room for everything. So I am going to now put a little bit of dirt on the bottom to kind of start filling stuff up because at this point I have just 2 more plants that I want to put in. I'm using potting soil, but I've mixed in some perlite, orchid bark, horticultural charcoal, and worm casings, which are gonna act as a natural fertilizer. The horticultural charcoal is going to act as kind of it will draw out impurities from the soil. Oh, alrighty, so this guy has some nice roots at the bottom. I'm gonna take a little bit of dirt off on the top here. And it's always good to loosen the root ball and loosen the dirt that the plant has been sitting in because that kind of prompts the roots to grow. So let me think here. I think we wanted this to go this way. It's kind of spill over both sides as one of our spillers. Like that, okay. Wow. And we have one last one to put in. So I think that's gonna go in the center and we're gonna have that coming off the front. Alrighty. Will you pause it for me or actually just stop it? Okay, alrighty, so I have added all the plants. My last spiller is kind of tall and it's gonna add a little bit of height to the planter, but it's not gonna take away from our Thriller. And it looks gorgeous. Since I'm going for a really earthy tone on this planter, I'm gonna take some moss and kind of put it over the visible dirt so that all you'll really see is green when you look at this planter. And the beautiful pop of color that the heather gives. Another benefit of putting this moss on top of your planter is that it's gonna help the plants retain moisture. And we're probably gonna be using this as an indoor planter, even though the plants that I planted in are typically outdoor plants. We're gonna see how they survive indoors, and this moss is gonna help them retain moisture because they'll be used to getting more water outside. Alrighty, so got just a couple more places I want to put that moss, and then this planter will be ready for delivery. I think that my friend is going to love it. Alrighty. Okay. There we go. Now, one of the things that I think is so cool about this is that you can still pick it up as a basket and use the handle. That's why we wanted to plant around the handle. And let me just flip it around. So we have our thriller in the back here. Look at how beautiful that is. A lush, bountiful, flowing basket. Thanks for watching. Thank you for joining me on this basket planting adventure. I'm so excited to deliver this to my friends. I haven't posted a video in a while because I've been working on opening my own houseplant business, Amethyst Plants. I have a website now, www.amethystplants.com, and I sell and ship houseplants and houseplants accessories using USPS priority mail. So if you have a moment, check it out. And I'm also having a sale this Labor Day weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. 10% off will be applied in checkout and you don't need any code. Thanks again for joining me.